Freddy is iconic. Original play by Robert Englund, the character has haunted movie theaters since the beginnings, so it's time to rank the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Before we do, let's remind us of the rules for this series. 1. These are only my opinions, so let me know your ranking in the comments below. My ranking may change over time, it depends on how I feel. I update my rankings on Letterboxd, so be sure to follow me there. I try to stick with versions that are released in theaters when possible. Not every movie had a director's cut treatment, so it would not be fair to the others. Warning, there might be spoilers. That being said, let's get the show started. Number 9. Platinum Dunes: A Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't hate this remake, but I do feel following the beats of the original was a mistake. They should have gone in a different direction. I like Freddy's backstory. Sometimes I'm less creeped because Freddy has a Batman voice from time to time. That's weird. The characters are okay. There are modernized versions of the originals. They added a boyfriend to Nancy later in the movie, but it's not enough to make me visit this movie instead of the original. Jackie Earle Haley is good as Freddy, but he had big shoes to fill on this one since Robert Englund made this his character. He starts having fun with it, especially the wisecracks at the end of the movie. The CGI effects really don't compare with the special effects of the original. It takes me out of the mood really quickly. At the end, it follows the same beats as the original, even has the ending jump scare. Number 8. A Nightmare on Elm Street 5: The Dream Child. This wasn't nearly as good as previous films. Everything fell flat. However, Freddy Baby in the beginning is creepy as fuck. The special effects aren't that great. Freddy is more a parody of his former self. And I really dig the comic book sequence. That was really awesome. Number 7. Freddy vs. Jason. I reviewed this on my Friday the 13th ranking. I liked the movie. It was more of a Freddy movie than Jason. There's some fun to be had. Number 6. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. This movie starts out awesome. School bus of doom. It ends out being a nightmare. Freddy wants to come back, but he has no power after the final fight with Nancy from the previous film. I love the fact that he used someone to do the killings and cause fear enough to gain his power back. It switches up things from the previous movie, and I don't feel like it's a simple rehash. However, it's not as good as the first movie. Robert Englund is still awesome. And there are some really creepy things like the hell dogs and the sex scene where the hero's tongue changed into Freddy. That was on another level of creepy. Like the previous movie, the ending was okay but not great. The power of love rules and it still opens on a cliffhanger. It's not as great as the original, but still a good time. Number 5. Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. They really took a more comedic route for this one. It starts out really good. I view this one as a comedy and find a lot of entertainment into it. It gets very wacky. There's a drug trip and also a video game scene. It's weird but funny. The movie is not very creepy. It's just entertaining. Robert Englund is having the time of his life. Special effects are really hit or miss. It really shows that they don't put as much budget on these later movies. The end fight and the ending in general is amazing. Number 4. Nightmare on Elm Street 4: The Dream Master. I like this one. It was directed by the guy who made Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, and the most excellent, The Long Kiss Goodnight. The beginning is badass with Freddy reforming from scratch. He goes out to get vengeance on the Dream Warriors. It's kind of sad to see cool characters from the previous movie go out like that, but it didn't ruin the pleasure for me. Freddy has some insane ways to finish off his victims. The waterbed scene and the part where a woman transforms into an insect are really kick-ass. His glove becomes a shark fin. Robert Englund is still a badass in this. The acting in general is kind of meh, but I don't really care. The rest is over the top. And shout out to the karate fight with Freddy. That was entertaining as fuck. And also, the final fight is badass. Number 3, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors. The cast here is why I love the movie. They bring back Nancy from the first movie, but have a cool team up of people who can fight inside dreams. Robert Englund is awesome as ever, and now he brings the one-liners. Number 2, A New Nightmare. This one is really my second favorite. It brought back to his horror roots. Wes Craven returns as a director, and it shows. It's a new Freddy killing off actors who played in the original movie. It's meta. It reminds me of the movie Scream, but Scream did it a little bit better, that meta formula. This movie's creepy. Freddy has revamped makeup, looks less rubber than previous entries. Overall, this movie is awesome. Number 1, Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. This movie starts out with a very creepy dream just to tease us to what's to come. We are quickly introduced to Nancy and her friends, and we also have Johnny Depp. He's among one of them. Soon after, the teenagers start dying in their dreams, but no one understands. These scenes are brilliant. The nightmare sequence are even more horrifying because the effect shots are actually made on set. This makes the film have more personality. When Nancy starts having nightmares, she quickly becomes a badass. I really love her fighting spirit at the end of the movie, and the final fight is incredible. We also have John Saxon in this, and I like the role that he plays in this. At first, he doesn't want to believe that Freddy's back, but realizes later that he was deeply mistaken. And Robert Englund is just excellent in the role of the villain. I love it. If I have to take points away, it would be for the very disappointing ending. I know it leaves open to the other movies, but I felt it was kind of poorly done, especially after the final battle. I know that Wes Craven wasn't a fan of that ending. So this ends my Nightmare ranking. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and hit that subscribe button.